Many thanks for joining us, dear viewers. This is Open Horn of Africa's English program, and this is our special edition that we are going to focus on the current affairs of the country and the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam. Today, I've got one guest here with me. My guest today is head of the Oromia Water and Energy Bureau, Dr. Habtamu Itefa. Thanks for joining us and welcome to this program.
Thank you so much.
Well, just to begin with, how can you express the work performance of Oromia Water and Energy Resource Development Bureau of the 2019-2020 fiscal year?
Thank you so much for the invitation. Honestly speaking, for the past 3-4 years, there has been a great change in Oromia as well as Ethiopia in every aspect. Among them, the infrastructure aspect is one, where really we need to show a significant change for our people, for our community. From the infrastructure, the water sector is also one of the critical issues, as water is life for human being, and a long time it has been invested a lot, and that was where people have been complaining also for not getting satisfied was the demand from the government side. So the last year fiscal year, I mean the 2013 Ethiopian fiscal year, we try to address issues where there has been a big complaint among our society, our community, especially in the water sector. From the point of view of my bureau, 10 years back, 8 years back, project has been started, but for some minor reasons they have been stuck and they couldn't be achieved. And our people have been saying, what's going on? Why government is not accomplishing? A lot has been invested there, no payback, and it has been a big question really. So when we were planning, we try to shortlist which of the projects should be prioritized. Because we do have a lot of them, by the way, thousands of projects have been there. That has been planned at World level, at zone level, and at regional level, either from the capital budget or from donor budgets. So we try to maximize where we should put our effort. Effort means with the maximum effort, we need to get the maximum output. Our output is actually the beneficiary, number of people to be served from the water scheme. So among those projects, to mention them, in the west side from Bako, in southern Oromia, from Nagalli Borana, even we are having a good progress of Faris Midaga in Hararge these days, and a lot of anyway, long time project that has been delayed, and we had a good achievement. So on this such a meeting, it was really recognized that there has been less complaint from the members of the Chafe. Earlier time, we remember people have been saying, oh, this project is delayed, we have this kind of problem, nothing happens, and so on. Really, with the support of the administrative staff at different levels, we had good achievement. And the support from the government was especially unique, really, from the president, from the Bureau of Finance. There has been a big support, and really we had a good achievement in water sector. So not only water sector, as a regional government, we had a good achievement in every aspect, by the way. Honestly speaking, with the road, was very good. With agriculture, especially irrigation, as we have seen in the wheat and the barley, a lot has been changed, where we really say the life of our people at household level has benefited from this reform. And the water sector is one of the area where we can really clearly see black and white our output. That is what has been reflected on the Chafe.
What are the main challenges, and especially the bottlenecks, as well as the greater achievements of your bureau in this year?
Yeah, actually, as I said, the achievement is trying to address the project that has been long time backlog, that has been delayed for many reasons. That's a very good part. Our challenge is especially with the utility in the town. Things are really not going in the way we need. Because we had a lot of projects that has been done at the rural level, at the urban level. Whenever that is already handed over to the municipality, some of our towns, municipality are supporting our utility, but some are really still making more trouble. We can mention a few of them really that has been creating a lot of issue. Burayu is one of them that we try to interfere. Yabello is another one, and a lot of them anyway are not going in a way we need. The other one is in our office, especially with the related to project, the supply aspect. The in any water project, we have three components. One is the supply, electromechanical part. The other one is the pipe. The third one is the civil work, the construction part. So especially with the electromechanical, we have been facing a lot of challenge with regard to the foreign currency. That delayed our project not to be accomplished on time. Though we are really trying to make maximum effort to solve that, still we are having some issue. And even the cement part, the reinforcement part, all these components are trying to create some challenge on our progress that we are proceeding as per our schedule.
Based on this good performance of the your bureau, what can we expect for the next new budget year from your bureau? What can we expect?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, we are trying to have some strategic activity we are putting as of this year. Earlier times, we were just really focusing on construction of projects that anybody can do it. So we have two critical issues to address. One, to activate the water fund, Oromia Water Source Fund. The meaning of this water source fund means to create a capacity for our region. We don't have to wait really only from the government side, not only from the treasury. So there has to be a way how we can boost or how we can support our water scheme. For that, we had already proclamation that has been endorsed by the Chaffe in last year. Already the guideline for that one is already prepared, and in few months that will be endorsed by the cabinet, and then that will be implemented. That will help us how each utility, each people, town, or anybody, or anyone who even want to invest on water sector can borrow that money, and then they can make some profit from that, then they pay back. So it's a kind of revolving fund. That is a really critical issue. The third one is the structuring of the utility. Especially, as I said, earlier time actually in our bureau, the utility, for example, Adama Town, Ambo, Bishoftu, wherever we name, they had a board that has been assigned from the bureau. So the last 2 years we tried to change that. We made decentralization, and so that the mayor can be the board. So in some of the town, the boards are committed really to support, and I want to thank them. And in few of them, I can say half of them, really they abused it. The mayors and the local administrators, they abused that. So we try to dismantle that system. That system needs to be purely of technical. The way, for example, we are having for the Ethio Telecom, there is a branch. So same way we need to make the utility. Because the utility, we believe that it should have revenue, that it is operation, running cost, and even it can make profit really. Because of the mismanagement, things are not in the way we need, so we need to have some structure for that aspect, so that it will be purely technical from head office to the utility. That is what we are focusing. The third issue is actually it's normal, it's nothing strategic, trying to focus on the project completion that we had started maybe 1 year back and 1.5 years back, and still we have some backlogs in our hands. As I said, the Faris Midaga case is not completed yet, so that needs to be settled by this year. So the normal project management and contract management will continue, but two specific strategic issue we are planning to address, that is focusing on the utility and strengthening the capacity of our bureaus through the water fund development.
Well, coming to the grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam issues, as one expert and a professional engineer, how do you see the current overall construction of the dam and its technical overview?
Yeah, actually the GERD issue is becoming a global issue that people are thinking as if Ethiopia is developing a nuclear or something that is a threat to the world, which actually they didn't miss what they mean, but purposely people try to twist the way that we are planning. So just to mention a few things about the background of our water development, it was really a long time, whether it is the Emperor Haile Selassie or Mengistu or even Mallas and our current reform government, everybody's always try to achieve something from the water. But in one or the other way, they try to twist the hands of the government in the previous time so that they drop the water development, because they know how water will change life of people. They know how water will change the prosperity, it creates really a wealth. So GERD has a big impact or significant change in our government future plan, or even our bargaining power, we can say in short. So earlier when it was started, it was a blessed idea, and that the previous, the TPLF team, they really abused that. They collected the money from our mothers, our sisters, from the government, from every person anyway, businessman, and they abused that in a sense of talking about GERD. So in this reform, things went reversed down. That has been corrected, and then it has started the journey on the right direction. So some of the really our neighboring countries and the Westerns, most of them, they are not happy with the action what we had on the GERD, and everybody is trying to lobby against that, and try to blackmail our country, the political system, and our people. So having said all this, GERD is all about survival for Ethiopians. Honestly speaking, what does it mean it's about survival? Today, we are having a population of more than 100 million, where 60–70% are youths. These youths are graduates from universities, and the land is limited, as we know. So we don't have so much manufacturing sector or industry or where people get employed. So the only way is to have some means of development. The only way where we can have means of development is to get a power. Power is the hydropower, which is safe from every aspect. So once we have those hydropower, we will have option for manufacturing, where our youth will get employed in that. This youth that we are having, the best mind really have been graduating from university, and they have been staying idle for 2, 3, even more than those kind of years. And still we have more to come in the coming 5 or even more than that. So we need to plan accordingly strategically where they can get inputs, where we can settle. So GERD will have a significant input for where we will accommodate our youth by developing the power system that will attract the manufacturing sector. In every town today we see, even we cannot have small manufacturing sectors where people say, oh, there is no power. The power is not enough. The electricity is not capacitating all the system. So the GERD will reverse that. If we have the system to be done in this way, the youth will get accommodated, wealth will be generated, then life will be okay for our people. Some people are not happy with what is to be done that way. So for that anyway, we are facing pressures from outside, and some people unknowingly trying to support those pressures from the outside part. So with this regard to GERD, it's all about the survival for Ethiopians. That is why I say in the coming few years we have no option except generating our power, making business to be available in the country so that our youth get accommodated in that way.
Well, is that really that Ethiopia is constructing the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam to treat or to harm the downstream countries, or
not
to benefit
really.
its own?
Not really. Honestly speaking, had it been so, we could have used that for irrigation. Yeah, because when we are planning any water resource development, technically we say the consumptive use and non-consumptive use. Irrigation is consumptive use. The amount of water that we store beyond the dam, GERD, will be pumped or diverted by gravity, and we use for irrigation, for agriculture, or for drinking. That is consumptive. That will change the volume of water that needs to be supplied to the downstream country. For hydropower, it's another way. Even it is an advantage for them.
How?
The availability of this GERD, one thing, it will store the excess flood that they face every rainy period, for example. Last year, we remember what happened in Sudan.
Yes.
And the other one, it will even detain the sediment that they are suffering from their country. So when we are trying to have the GERD for hydropower, we store the water, it heats the turbine, and then the discharge will be going to the downstream. Technically, we say, by the way, that is a flood attenuation. The flood is getting stored here, and then they will have maximum runoff, by the way, or river discharge during dry periods. By the time they will get maximum land to be irrigated. For the dam that we constructed, they are having maximum irrigation during the dry period. They need to thank us, by the way. They need to say Ethiopia has done a positive for our country. Sudan needs to appreciate that. Egyptians need to appreciate that. The other one with sediment, as I say. A lot of sediment or soil erosion that we are facing in the Blue Nile Basin used to easily get transported to their dam system. GERD will detain that. By the way, they really know this. They didn't miss this idea because in Egypt we have a lot of Hydrological Institute research centers. A lot of professors are there. Technically, they are aware how it will help them, but it's due to the way they need to think is Ethiopia needs to remain poor so that they will have our people scattered around in every Arab country as we are seeing that. So the advantage of the dam is both for Sudanese brothers and Egyptian brothers from the technical point of view that we say. So nothing we can say. Ethiopia has constructed the GERD not to hurt them. Hurt even so, as I say, we need to think about irrigation. We need to think about the water supply. Actually, that may be minor. The irrigation will consume more water, and that could be an issue. But this is the hydropower system, and nothing to do with the hurting of the downstream riparian countries.
At the second filling water operation is successfully done, what is expected from the public, from the government of Ethiopia, and if successfully accomplishing the project?
Yeah, what's expected is already just to continue what it has been doing. Yeah, earlier we remember everybody has really contribution. GERD is the property of every Ethiopian citizen. It's the property of all the youth, the property of the workers, property of the farmers, property of the businessmen, and all Ethiopians, they have their asset in that dam. So they need to continue in that support. Two things actually that better to say in three things. One thing, we need to keep financially supporting as we have been doing so far. From the salary, from any payment, wherever, because nothing is there from the abroad. It's all about the Ethiopian citizens' money, self-financing the project. The second one is we need to really get strong together on the issue of GERD. Everybody can have different kind of political attitude, political view. This is nothing to do with the political issue, but it's all about our generation. Someone who is worrying about this country needs to say, GERD is my dam. GERD is my children's dam. GERD will be my future grandchildren's dam. That is really what people need to be confident about that. The third one is the media, as has been done so far. The media really needs to work up on that more. That is what I always say. If we see the Egyptians and the Sudanese, they have a lot of media that is really broadcasting the issue of Nile in the wrong way. That is why they try to put pressure up on our country, because they talk a lot and they have more media outlets. They try to confuse international community, saying Ethiopia is going to harm them. So we need to counteract that. When we are saying we need to counteract that, we need to do in a way people can hear us. For example, Ethiopia, people are really using all the media in Amharic, in Oromo, or that is just a local issue. It needs to be beyond that. It needs to be in Arabic, for example. The media needs to have such kind of program. It needs to be in English, in French, in Swahili, where we really the influence or what is the reality on ground people can hear, and they have balanced side. So with the media, just to add, a professional needs to talk about that also. I don't know why really few people are really saying about this GERD. What does it mean? Actually, either they didn't get the chance, they are not invited by media, or they didn't have the access to any of the way out. So we need to have such kind of team, the media, the professionals from every aspect. By the way, when we say the professionals, it's not only for the hydraulic engineers, the legal people, the economics, all this kind of issue, there has to be continuous hammering of what's going on. Continuous speaking out loudly, we need to say, this GERD dam is a dam that is all about survival of Ethiopian people. That has nothing to hurt our downstream brothers. Rather, it will benefit them and let the people, the world, and the international community also understand that. That is what I suggest.
Well, coming to the Sudanese and Egypt's process, especially on the negotiation process, why the Sudanese and Egypt want the US, UN, EU and other organs or international organizations to prior the mediator, while the African Union can mediate the process or the negotiation fairly here in Africa?
Actually, two things, I guess. Number one is Egyptians especially, they have still the colonial mindset up. They think they are to that level. So they didn't get updated where Ethiopia is, where Africa is so, because they try to run to such kind of ideology. The second one, if Ethiopia really successfully completed this GERD, there are a lot of countries in Africa, especially the Nile countries, the 11 countries. Those countries may follow the route path of Ethiopia. So the Egyptians want to discourage that. So they want to take it high level so that people will get afraid of the issue, and in that way, that is what I guess. Maybe under this point, they know if really it is done by the African problem, by African solution, they know what will be the answer. Or they can clearly understand the fair decision Ethiopia is taking is the right one, and the AU will decide the same approach. So they try to make that one to get staggered here and there. Actually, they were not successful. Still, they will not succeed in what they are doing because this is nothing to do with a security issue. It is all about development of the East Africa, not Ethiopia, by the way. Yeah, when we are having this power, it's not only Ethiopia that is using that. We may export to Kenya, we may export to Djibouti, we may export even to Sudan. So all from this river Parian, they will get benefited from that, and they try to make that away from the society and the community. These are the two actual cases. By the way, in industry or in any part of the world, there is nowhere people are really getting suffered as we are doing now because of our GERD. If you see Mexico and US, there is a dam that is crossing the country. Nobody complained about that. In Europe, we have a lot from France, Switzerland, Germany, Holland. Series of dams are there. People are really honestly speaking together, and then they are getting utilized that. So never heard the issue went to Security Council to this level as they did now. So one thing that we need to be sure and we need to be happy is already we are winning. God is helping us. The water is getting filled. If you see the maximum rainfall we are experiencing in the basin this day, for sure things will get done soon. And other African brothers also will start to say, okay, why don't I use my water? For example, South Sudan has started. They say, okay, soon they start to build the dam. So this issue is for us, we need to be proud, one thing, for accomplishment of our dam. The third one is we are showing a breakthrough and proving for other African brothers so that they can follow the route path of Ethiopia.
Why they want to internationalize this agenda or this issue? Because isn't it a disrespect for the African Union?
Yes, one thing is that. The other one is, by the way, this is a long time story. It's not only the first time for them. Okay. In 1950s, if I don't remember actual time, the Emperor Selassie had a consultant from USBR. They tried to identify dam sites in Ethiopia across all basins where we can have a series of dams. So the study has been done. When the Emperor asked them for fund, they say no. They say no because they say they don't want to have interest or have conflict with the Egyptians. Even there is a word that say we better keep on supporting on other way rather than supporting on the dam. During the Dark regime also there has been a project that we say Anabalas in Matakkal. And a lot has been done there and they dismantled, and we remember what happened with the regime. And again, the attempt, the same may happen to them. The same may happen to us because already the Western, especially the US and the Great Britain and others also, especially working on the World Bank and African Development Bank, most of the time they are maintaining the interest of the Egyptians. That is what we have been seeing through the trend. And these Egyptians, they are expecting also the same thing from them now. Because from that past experience, these people have been their supporter. So if they take that to the international level, they may get some tip. They may have some takeaway that the Westerners will get back to Ethiopia. That is what they have been attempting. So it is a trend that they come through, forcing them to that. And they have also really ignorance for the African Union, yeah. That is, as you said, because sometimes they say the first time they run to the Arab League. Why? They are in Africa, but they try to make the issue to be handled in the Arab League. Then they went to the Security Council. They try to have some approach in the European Union and every part anyway, in the Western and outside Africa. So from the past trend, they have been having support from this crew, this team. And the second one is really they have ignorance for the African Union and African people. And they have still the colonial mentality. That's what I guess.
Well, apart from generating electricity, upon its completion, what can we expect from the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam as a country level?
Yeah, by the way, when we have development in any water sector, we have a lot of benefits that we can talk about. Number one is navigation. For example, is a really very big one, big reservoir that is accompanying in Matakkal and long time. So people may use that one for navigation, boating. The second one is fishing. In Ethiopia, for example, we have few places that we are using. And if we see in supermarkets and any part in Ethiopia, all of get imported from other country. So from such big reservoirs, we have such options. This is what we can have indirectly from the other one. And even we may have satellite towns in that reservoir area, because for sure it will be a vacation center. We are going to have cities and towns, and that will attract tourists. From that tourism, we are going to have our foreign exchange issue. These are the advantage that we can maintain. The other one, as a country or as a national, at national level, we will have really a bargaining power. Bargaining power in a sense, okay, we have a dam, we have power. Power means electricity power. Once we have the electricity power, we can invite investors, anyone for any development. And then for more than that, we can keep developing our water resource as well, because we have already experience from such big dam. We are going to generate some revenue. We are going to have some advantage from all this the dam result that will help us to have another water resource development experience from that one. So the ecosystem of the area even will get changed, because the more we are having reservoirs there, the more suitable it will be for life, the towns, the recreation, the navigation, the fishing. A lot of issues really we can mention. It's not only the hydropower. Even we can think of having small irrigation by pumping for the local people. That will make benefit for our society.
Well, in general, do you think that the green legacy being undertaken or underway for the last 3 or 2 years consecutive years in Ethiopia have its own positive impact for the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam?
Yes, for sure. Actually, when we are saying the green legacy, really we need to understand what does it mean. Not only planting a tree and having a green environment, it's beyond that, by the way. When we are really building a nation is where people can survive. Nation or the coming generation needs to have a place to survive, and a comfortable place should be. When we are saying comfortable, one thing, it will be safe for environment, how people reside. The second one is we are going to have our soil conserved, no more runoff, less runoff actually, no more erosion actually. We don't say no erosion as far as we have agriculture. The third one is we are going to have our water yield increased, because the more vegetation, the more forest we are going to have, the more spring we can have. That is what we had in the past time. Ethiopia, the deforestation consequences and the nature imbalance with the climate change and with less hydrology, with disturbed water system. So this green legacy will reverse all these three issues. So when we are having our springs or our river system getting increased development, for sure we'll have a secured water in our dam. That's one issue. So once we have a dam, we need to have water in it. To have that amount of water stored in the dam, we need to protect the catchment. So the green legacy has such advantage. The second one, this dam is really a very big dam, and it should not be a retention dam. Technically, when we say sediment retention dam, it's not to accumulate our sediment. To avoid the sediment accumulation, we need to have catchment management on the upstream side of our river. So in our catchment, in our river basin, the more vegetation we have, the less sediment delivery to the GERD, and the GERD will be safe. So all these parameters, they add up and will increase to safety of our dam, and then it has a significant impact on the life, the output, and even on the services the dam will provide for our future. I think that is even why really our PM has such kind of initiatives 3 years back. Immediately activation of the GERD, and then the green legacy has started. Today, if you see every children in school, they talk about seedling. Everyone talk about seedling because they already they owned it. They say it is mine. So owning of such kind of green legacy will be related to the GERD, and that is advantages also with the issue that I raised earlier.
Dr. Habtamu, I'm almost close to end with my questions. And lastly, if you have a general message in connection with the current affairs of the country and others, you are highly welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Just my general issue is with regard to the water sector. In history, in any nations, even including the Egyptians, the beginning of civilization is from the water. People need to say water is life. That is true. When we are saying water is life, we need to also focus upon that. Today, we have really a good move from government, especially from Oromia government. His Excellency President Shumalis is already aware our people, our society needs to utilize their water. We have been talking about GERD, that is a big one. We can have small dams in our yards. Every farmer can have small yards. We can have water harvesting. We can conserve our water. So we need to practice that, by the way. So that is one issue that I say. The second one, we may have more chance to go for construction of another dams from GERD. People know to say, all the dams that are coming are mine. So we need to get ready for that issue. The third one is specific to GERD. I really want to encourage and thank OBN for what has been doing with regard to GERD, what people have been saying, and that needs to be in different language, not in Afan Oromo only, not only in English. So other medias need to have access to the international community, saying what GERD is, how it should influence our people, positive influence, I mean, the downstream side, and so on. So all these kind of issues are few of the points that I would like to add at the end.
Well, Dr. Habtamu, many thanks for joining us again and for sitting down with us as well as sharing your best experience and knowledge. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, dear viewers, this will bring us to the end of this edition. I will come on by hosting and producing this program for you. Till the next edition, have a beautiful time.